الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أوصيكم عباد الله تقوى الله وحثكم على طاعة الله. All praises are due to Allah. We believe in Him, we trust in Him, we seek His forgiveness, we seek His guidance, we seek His help alone. We bear witness today as individuals, as Jama'ah, as community, and as Ummah. The basis of our faith, the basis of our life, when we say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. There's no ilah in our lives. There's nothing we give obedience to, loyalty to, devotion to, other than Allah. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. And everything in our lives must flow from that first devotion and loyalty and obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the second thing we pledge our lives to as individuals in the community is the second basis of our faith, the second foundation of our lives when we say, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. We bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the servant of Allah, the messenger of Allah, the last prophet and messenger sent to humanity, our guide, our example, our beloved. And on that basis, let us commit ourselves, and on that basis, let us live our lives. Amma ba'd. Brothers and sisters, this is September 11th. 9/11 is a date scorched still, I think, in our memory. But also, this is the season of Hajj. Early next week, they will declare the beginning of the month of Hajj. And Hajj itself is maybe about 10, 12 days away. So interesting, the juxtaposition. The worst and the best. Let's talk about the best. And it is the best that we can be. Millions, 3 million people come together for an event that is unparalleled in history. Unparalleled in anything that happens in this world. Better than the World Cup. To have that many people responding to Allah's call. In Surah Hajj, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the story of Ibrahim and how he builds the Kaaba. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَذِّن فِي النَّاسِ بِالْحَجِّ يَأْتُوكَ رِجَالًا وَعَلَى كُلِّ ضَامِرٍ يَأْتِينَ مِنْ كُلِّ فَجٍّ عَمِيقٍ. Allah says, proclaim, O Ibrahim, O Muhammad, O Muslims, proclaim. Proclaim to the people, to humanity, the Hajj. And they will come to you on foot and on every kind of fast mount, coming from every direction. And could Ibrahim alayhi salam, could Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ever imagine what the Hajj has become? On every fast mount, jet planes from every direction. Who could have imagined every direction in the world? Every corner of the world coming to this Hajj. Millions sacrificing, leaving their ordinary lives to come to bow down to the Lord of the worlds, to seek forgiveness for sins, to commit themselves to a better life, to stand before the house of Allah, saying, Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Oh Lord, here I am at your service. What a wonderful example. Wallahi, brothers and sisters, we should be so grateful for this deen, the beauty of this deen. Millions of people humbling themselves, dressed like poor people, like a poor person at the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Humble, equal, everybody dressed the same, rich and poor. Diverse, and that's one of the things that hits you right away. People from all over the world coming together and united. La rafath wa la fusuq. No obscenity, no wrongdoing, no arguments. Wallahi, the first time I made tawaf, I hit the haram and started tawaf, and all of a sudden I'm getting knocked all around. And the first thing that came to my head, man, if I was on the streets of America, there'd be fights breaking out all over the place. And I remember I'm making salah with an old friend, Ali Abu Zakub. Some of the Libyans here know Ali very well. And we're praying on the roof. And Ali does something we're all lined up for prayer, and Ali does something to the person in front. I forget what it was. He bumped him, stepped on his foot. I don't know what he did. Anyway, the brother in front stood up and was very angry and started, hollering at Ali. And then the Iqamah was said just then. So everybody turned, made salah. And immediately after the salah was over, that brother stood up and came to Ali and kissed his forehead and started crying and said, please forgive me, please forgive me. That's the Hajj. That's the best example. We are at our best in Hajj. And Aisha radiallahu anha, in a hadith that's in Al-Bukhari and Muslim, she said, I find that jihad is the best deed. So shouldn't we, and it understood, women participate in jihad? And he said, no. Rather, the best jihad is Hajj al-Mabrur, is a Hajj, a righteous Hajj, a Hajj that is accepted by Allah. That's where our jihad starts. That is the foundation of our Hajj. All the lessons of Hajj, that's where we begin. That's where our strive and struggle in the world begins, from digesting and imbibing and living the lessons of Hajj. For wallahi, Hajj, more than anything else, shows the potential of what this ummah can be. It is the promise of what this ummah can be. And 9/11, and what happened on 9/11 is an example of the worst of our community. Because these people proudly say we are Muslim, and they proudly say we are doing this in the name of Allah, and for the purpose of opposing the West, they do an abomination by killing innocent people. For something that might sound good, they do harm. This is not acceptable. And now the story continues. Now we have ISIS, ISIL, we have the Islamic State, the so-called Islamic State. Even worse, executing and torturing Westerners. Westerners, some of them aid workers, who have come under the protection of other Muslims to help the Syrians. They kill journalists, some of them who have been sympathetic to the cause. They went there to help, try to explain Syria. Some of them took shahada and still executed. What is this thing? Unbelievable. They kill Yazidis, take them slaves for what? Because they're Yazidis. But for centuries, the Yazidis have been declared dhimmi. They've been declared protected ones. They take slaves. They enslave people. Even though for centuries the ulama have an ijma, no more slavery. No, this is a terrible wrong. And then, especially since 9/11, all the haters of Islam have come out of the shadows. Islamophobia and the expressed hatred of Islam is as strong as I've ever seen it. Just what, yesterday, a Sikh person, the poor Sikhs, because they wear those turbans and long beards, they get, the first person who was killed after 9/11 was a Sikh person. So just yesterday, a Sikh person was assaulted and beat up terribly. But of course, Muslims also have received the brunt of hatred. And masajid have been attacked. Islamophobia has never been worse. So here we sit in America. And I think we have to do three things. We have to remind ourselves of the beauty of this Hajj. And we have to pledge ourselves as individuals and community to manifest this promise of Hajj, this potential, the ideals that Hajj represents for us as an ummah. And then we have to openly oppose and contradict those who, in the name of our religion, see, that's the difference. I mean, if somebody was out there doing these crazy things in the name of some kind of nationalistic struggle or in the name of some kind of weird cause, yeah, okay. We don't have anything to do with that. But these people are doing it in our name. They're doing it in our name. That's how people are listening. This is Islam, they say. So we have to respond. We have to make clear what is Islam and what is not Islam. And we have to build up our own voice in this country. Well, Lord, brothers, this is our challenge. Brothers and sisters, this is our challenge. We have to strengthen our own voice and in our own presence in this country so that we can oppose the haters, but also that we might represent ourselves in this society. That our message, our point of view, might be heard, inshallah, influential in this society. Shaping our society, shaping not only internal but even foreign policy. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. الحمد لله إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Brothers and sisters, I was thinking about this khutbah, and I just opened the Quran this morning, as is my habit, to let Allah speak to me, and I opened to the surah of Yusuf. And wallah, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Wow. And I asked myself, what does Yusuf have to do, And it hit me. We are like Yusuf. We have a lot of parallels to the story of Yusuf. And the lessons of Yusuf are our lessons. Because what? Yusuf was betrayed by his brothers and sold into slavery and went to a strange land where Islam was not known. Maybe he was the only one proclaiming Tawheed. And Egypt at that time, the most powerful nation on earth, inshallah. And we were very similar. Some of us were also kidnapped and sold into slavery exactly like Yusuf. Some of my ancestors came on slave ships. Some of us who came on the Mayflower came from Europe, but refugees from Europe, fleeing persecution, religious persecution in Europe, and came to this country. And many of us came from Muslim lands, but like refugees, fleeing from the problems and hardships and the hassles of our Muslim lands, seeking opportunities that were not there, seeking education that was not there back home. Like refugees, like Yusuf. We are strangers in a strange land. But what did Yusuf do? What is the example of Yusuf? Did his Iman lessen? No. Did he stop believing? No. Was he seduced by the way of life of Egypt? Is sex before